Hi again. This is video number 2 of 3. Believe it or not, there are 3 videos to this. The third one will introduce a shaker, but we'll get to that when we get to that. This is video number 2 of learning how to play the rhythm to Why Not. As you might remember, in video number 1, we had just the basic rhythm, the first part of the basic rhythm for the chorus, and the chorus went something like this. The full chorus went something like this. So that's the rhythm played slowed down for a bit. So at speed it would sound something like this. So what we're going to do today, since I covered a lot of what the rhythm is, the basic rhythm is in video number 1, what we're going to do today is focus on parts number 2, 3, and 4. So parts 2 and 3 are pretty much like part 1. They'll start out exactly the same. So if you might remember, that rhythm went something like this. Okay, but parts 2 and 3 are going to end up a little bit different. They're going to have pretty much the same sort of technique. So, but the sounds are going to be different. So you're going to leap up into the horns a little bit differently than you did in part 1. So part 2, like I said, starts the same, but it's going to end up differently. So anyway, that's part 2. So if you put parts 1 and 2 together, so that's parts 1 and 2 put together. I suggest that you learn part 2 first before you put them together. Just get real comfortable with it first. And then when you're done with that, you can put part 3 with it, which again starts exactly like part 1, but will end up a little bit differently. You'll end up in a lot of horns on part 3, and here's where you're going to want a didge that does a lot of horns really easily, or at least your first 2 horns fairly easily, because you're going to do a lot of tucka-tuckas on the horns. So the end of part 3 is more like so if you put part 3 together with the first part being the same as part 1, so anyway, those are the first 3 parts. If anything doesn't make sense, just let me know. You can either contact me through here at YouTube, or you can contact me through my website. Part 4 is different from all the other 3 parts. So Part 4 is so what this actually introduces somewhat of a new, well, not new, but it introduces a new or a different technique, which is a jaw drop. Now, if you don't know already, if you don't know how to do a jaw drop already, I don't want to say it's simple, but the technique that I use is fairly simple. What I do is I draw away from the didge just a little bit. So, like, say if I have my didgeridoo right here, that gets me to vibrate my lips just a tiny bit slower than it would if I were in the drone, but not so much to where I actually lose the drone. So when you see me do a jaw drop, sometimes you'll see my head dip this way. It's not much, and it won't take much to do this. So just kind of experiment with your didge and see what feels right. Some didgeridoos work this easier than others. I tend to find that higher pitched didges like this one, this is an F didge, tend to do it a little bit easier than lower pitched didges like, say, a B or a C. So it's not impossible to do it on those didges, it's just a little bit harder. So anyway, getting back to the rhythm, this rhythm, I'll take the first part of that rhythm. So it's like, so it's like saying do, taka, do, with a vocal. Again, this also introduces a technique. If you're really willing to do it, this also introduces a technique where you can breathe in just after the vocals, like. Okay. So it's not an easy thing to do, and don't worry if you don't get it right off the bat. I sure didn't. So the second part of this rhythm is when I dip my head like that, that means I'm doing the jaw drop. So it's put that part of the rhythm all together, put part 4 all together, it'll come out. So, those are the four parts. Those are the 4 parts to the Why Not rhythm. So, again, put together slowly from very beginning to very end. course, I do a whole lot more than that through the whole song if you've ever heard the song, but that's pretty much the basic rhythm to Why Not. So again, if you have any questions or if anything doesn't make sense, don't hesitate to call me, or at least contact me. Anyhow, that's pretty much it. Again, thank you much for stopping by and taking a peek, taking a listen, and I will be back very soon with part 3.